What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Wars. I'm Joe Morley, and I'm talking, and you know what that means. Friday Night Wars, brought to you by Monster Energy Drink. No, I'm just kidding. Brought to you by me, smacking around Mike again. TikTok, followers, where are you at? Where's all the Mark on the mic squad? Where are you guys at? Nowhere to be found. People came to my side. I'm like, finally, what I told you was going to happen was people were going to actually start watching the show, start listening to what I say, and be like, that guy knows exactly what he's talking about. That Joe Morley is one smart mother like that, right? Woo! Smart. See, I didn't go all the way, but I'm just letting you know, Mike, that when it comes time, I can pull it out too. I could pull those victories out too. I told you I was going to let you get it, but there was no way you were going to go on a big run. Start the intro, because it's Friday night. Let's call it Friday Night Morleys.
Let's get ready to rumble. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday Night War Zone. Friday Night War Zone. Hey yo, it's Phil Flames. I'm with Mike on the Mic and Joe Morley. About to bring you more heat. Welcome to the war zone. You can have a floor seat. Watch them on your iPhone. Watch them on your Galaxy. It's a sports debate show. Straight up out of SoCal. Gather around the laptop. Friday nights it goes down. And we on the radio. Coming to your locale. Got into the third round. Better bring the smoke now. Step into the war zone. 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 Friday Night War Zone. Friday Night War Zone. Step into the 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 war zone. Friday Night War Zone. Friday Night War Zone.
Joe. We took a week off. We sat back. We said, we won 4 straight, 6 weeks long of a streak because we just take a 2-week break in there. That's a month and a half of domination. You're going to win one every once in a while, but I assure you we'll be back next week. We're back next week.
No.
Only one team's went 19-0, but there's been 50-something Super Bowl winners. We'll be back next week.
What are you trying to say, that I'm a Super Bowl winner?
No. I'm saying that I can't go 19-0 every season. Every once in a while, I got to give you one.
Yeah, you go 19-0, and then you get your smackdown in the Super Bowl when it counts, when Joe Morley comes out to play.
No.
Mike, go look at the votes.
What?
Piggy, let's go smack you down tomorrow on Flag Football.
Oh.
Mike, I'm letting you know. The streak that you had, O-B-E-R, bye!
Nah, let's win 4 more. Let's win 4 more just to teach them a lesson in a row. Then we'll give you another one or another 2 or whatever it takes. But anyways, let's talk about this. Because I saw on Instagram comment you were Team Mike. I was very surprised. You're rooting for Piggy or Mike in this flag football game this weekend?
Look, I'm going to root for you. I'm not going to root for Piggy because you already got that win. I'm not dumb, right? If I had to put money on something, I'm not dumb to go with an underdog, a team that got beat by 5 touchdowns last time, and got not just beat by 5 touchdowns, dominated. So you think I'm just gonna be like, okay, yeah, I believe that your whole team is different? No. So I'm going with you. Good luck tomorrow. Get the W, bring it back here, so at least you can finally get one win in your life, because you're not gonna get them here on Friday Night Wars.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin Piggy Big Picks is ready for what's about to come. But we have found a field that will allow us to wear cleats this time. We will not be playing in socks. So I will say that is a big advantage for Team Mike, because we're a bunch of guys that have cleats because we either just retired or still actively playing football. So yeah. I'm excited for it. I think that it's going to be 10-2 this time around.
Yeah, and then we might have to do a show about that and show all the highlights and stuff and show people how old you guys really are and how old people shouldn't be playing flag football still. But it should be fun. I hope you guys have a great time out there. But let's get this show tonight. What are we talking about tonight, Mike?
Yeah, tonight we got a loaded show. We got 3 topics on Friday Night Wars as we do every week. Once again, Friday Night Wars, the hottest sports debate show on YouTube today, and you get to decide the winner. So have your Twitter fingers ready to type MIKE in the comment section below. But we're going to be going over whether or not we think Julio Jones is worth a first-round pick. We're going to be going over some of the NBA playoffs action and whether we think that the Hawks can take down the 76ers in the second round. And we're going to talk about the Knicks a little bit and who we think could be the X factor that could be heading to New York in this upcoming offseason. I'm excited to get into it. Hopefully the gardening stops outside soon.
No, let it continue. Let them make them money. Let them do their job out there and let them, because they know that you're just speaking nonsense and they're going to let that gardening overpower you because nobody's listening to you anyways because they came here for this. The winner of Friday Night Wars.
All right, that's enough. That's enough talking. You know that you're not going to win this week. You know I'm going to win this week, so might as well waste the time. Go to www.warzonesportsnetwork.com. No problems with saying it that time. Let's go to war.
I just realized my mic has been away.
Who do you want to see on the New York Knicks? Oh, man, the good old Clippers. It's like deja vu every year. They play a middle-seeded team and choke under the pressure. They were able to escape the first round last year with a hobbled Luka, but I'm not so sure about this year. Regardless, if it's in round 1 or round 2, it's got to be Western Conference Championship or bust for this Clippers squad in this upcoming offseason at least, and for this experiment that they're doing. Well, it's more likely that Paul George will be out and on his way to a different team. Don't be surprised if Kawaii Leonard starts looking around. I say all of that to say this. If the Knicks want to take the next step, the perfect fit for that team is Kawaii Leonard. Get far, 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 far away from those Clippers, Kawaii. Get far, far, far away from that playoff curse, Kawaii, and head to the Big Apple. Head to New York, to a team where you are the perfect missing piece, a two-way player that can help out on both sides of the ball. And to the city who needs, I was just talking about the Clippers and it made me choke. And to a city that needs a guy like Kawaii to rally around. It was clear in these playoffs that Julius Randle is not a true number 1 option that's going to get you through an entire NBA season. Momentum is a thing. And the Knicks have found momentum. They finally have gotten a solid squad again. Let's keep this thing rolling, or should I say bouncing, by picking up Kawaii Leonard in this offseason.
When you speak about the Clippers, I started choking too. It was like we both started choking. It's contagious out there. And then you said that was so corny with the bouncing thing. Anyways, the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have been looking for a star for a long time, Mike. For a long time. Every offseason, it seems like there's a rumor of like, this guy's going to the Knicks. This guy's going to the Knicks. And guess what? Nothing happens. This year, the Knicks finally made the playoffs, right? But got bounced after only winning 1 game. So maybe the free agents will look at him and be like, I could go there. But I doubt it. I doubt they will sign anyone again. So I think they're going to have to go to the trade market. And why not go to someone who was on fire? Somebody who's on fire. Somebody who's playing like someone went on the NBA Jam and raised all those like little features, right? The video games, and moved all his things to the max. So 3 points, max. Field goals, max. Everything to the max, right? Rebounding. And that's Portland's Dame Lillard, right? It's time for him to get out of Portland. Time to let the world see him on the biggest stage of them all. The Knicks don't deserve a great player like Dame. No, they don't. But Dame deserves a great spotlight like New York, right? Put him over there. Let him talk his crap. Let him go on fire. Let him have games like he just had. And maybe, just maybe, Mike, Dame's going to stop Spike Lee from leaving games early. And the New York Knicks can advance somewhere else.
I actually really love that pick because Dame is like one of 3 or 4 players that is truly a superstar elite player playing completely alone on his team. McCollum has never stepped up to be a number 2 option that can help them get any further than where they've been getting, which is the first or second round on really good seasons where they play a really good first round series and somehow edge the game 7 that Dame Lillard single-handedly forces. I would love to see him go to New York because, one, he's going to get the attention he deserves. He's going to be on prime time a lot more often. And two, he'd be a good fit also. They need a guard that can dominate the game like that.
Yeah, and Portland always seems to be that team that's like in the playoffs, but not going anywhere after that. It's like it sucks because like growing up, I used to always play with Portland on like video games and stuff like that, but they've never been a real threat. It's just like, okay, they have some good players, they get to the playoffs, but you know they're not going to make the finals. It's like, so get something out of it, see what you can get for him, let him go shine, let him spend the next couple of years in New York and bring that market back up because like I said, I'm not rooting for the Knicks. I'm not rooting for the fans in the New York, but I'm rooting for the player. And putting Dame in New York, putting the spotlight on him, finally will let people know that. Like, because I think he's everybody knows who he is, but he's still a little bit underrated in my eyes.
Well, yeah, I think he's top 3, top 2 in the league at his position, and you won't hear his name come up in the same breath as a guy like Steph Curry, who's number 1 at his position. Some people even like Dame at number 1 out of all the point guards in the league, which is a little crazy because Steph Curry is a video game. He's not even human.
You know what the best thing about Dame is?
What?
He's a Raider fan.
Okay, I changed my mind. It's not a good answer. No, but I like Kawhi going to New York just as much as Dame. I think for the Knicks' sake, as far as their competitiveness and the team's sake of being good, Kawhi is the better option. He's better on defense. He's longer. He's stronger. But for the excitement factor, I like your pick a lot.
And you like my name. So go ahead, guys. You guys heard that. Go ahead and type Joe down in the comments. Team Joe in the comments for the win this week. Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Kawhi Leonard. Mike, in the comments. Let's do it. All right, guys. You can comment right now and vote for this round, or you can wait and lump them all together at the very end. But can you please, while you're here, take 1 second, smash that like button before we go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. Will the Hawks upset the Philadelphia 76ers?
Mike, I like what the Hawks have done in the first round, but I don't think they have enough. I don't think the Hawks have enough. They played the Knicks. They played the Knicks in the first round. The New York Knickerbockers, right? The 76ers will be without Joel Embiid, but they have played without him before. So I'm not really worried about that. I know it's going to be tough, but I think the 76ers have just enough to edge out the Hawks, right? Trae Young is the new king of New York. The king of, what they say? New York. Whatever. I'm not going to get in my singing because then they might sue us again or whatever. But he won't be taking over Philly. Let me tell you that. Philly fans are a lot worse than New York fans. Philly fans are going to come out crazy. This series is going to be a lot closer than everybody thought it was going to be because of the loss of Embiid. But maybe it's going to take 6 games now instead of the 4 or the 5 that we thought. Maybe it's not going to be the sweep that we all thought it was. The longer the 76ers stretch this out, Mike, the longer this series is stretched out and the more games it goes, guess what? The longer Embiid has to heal up and to get back and to come back and to be ready. So I don't think the 76ers have anything to worry about because they're going to walk all over the Hawks. But stretch it out a little bit. Lose a game here or there, not on purpose, but just losing here. Losing in 1 or 2 games actually helps the 76ers.
Which is kind of ironic that them losing actually helps them out a ton. And I agree with you. And I was going to say something like that. So I'm just going to start off by saying I agree with you on that part. But I am pumped for this series because Trae Young standing there in that crowd while the entire New York fan base is booing him reminded me so much of any time Cena had to go to ECW to take on RVD or any of those kind of WWE moments where the crowd is just going berserk over a true heel. And Young, he was just feeding it in. He was taking it in, using it as fuel, using the crowd as fuel to take over the game. That is stuff that you only see some of these legendary players do. So keep an eye on Trae Young's development. This could have been a huge step in his career. He used the crowd's chants against them. It was absolutely awesome. Now he has to go play an even rowdier fan base, and I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to straight up say it because I don't like lumping all the Philadelphia fans together. But I will say this. A majority of them are a little bit more rowdy than anyone else I've ever met in my life. But in this series, Trae Young is not the biggest factor, as great as he was in round one. The biggest factor in this series is Joel Embiid's health. He's their best player. He's the centerpiece of this team. The 76ers aren't the Lakers or the Nets or any of these other teams that have 3 superstars that could come in and take over a game if they need him to. Embiid is it. And if he isn't out there, I think I'm going to take the Hawks in 6 games. It's not even going to go 7, especially if the crowd in Philly does what they did in New York and Trae is able to use it as fuel like he did. Do not underestimate Clint Capella down low. He's going to dominate if Joel Embiid can't get on that damn court.
You crazy. You crazy.
6 games.
You're crazy. So I understand what Trae Young did in this first round. Great. And it moved his stock up. And a lot of people who weren't liking Trae Young have a new respect for him, and he's some things. But come on, we've been here before. We've seen this before. Players get hyped up. They play, higher than they're supposed to, but then the next round they go right back down. Mike, you're crazy. 6 games. You're gonna have the Hawks beat the 76ers in 6 games. It's your life. It's your life.
The 76ers, they also have a choking problem in the playoffs over the last couple of years. And they're going to play good defense still. They still got a hell of a defensive lineup, one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. But I'm just wondering where the offense is going to come from. Ben Simmons, he's not quite what he is. And if you go and you watch Nick Mack's show, you'll hear what his opinion on Ben Simmons and people comparing him to legends of the past, how much that triggers him. And then Tobias Harris, he's good. But is he good enough to take over the game and take over a series is what they're going to need? Like, I don't think Embiid has a chance of playing until game 6 or 7 at the very minimum.
Yeah.
So if the Hawks can take care of him, get up, 3-1, maybe drop a game so it goes to 3-2, and Embiid's return game, they have a lack of chemistry. Give me the Hawks in 6 games.
Wow. You guys, I don't know if you guys heard that right before Mike started arguing, he said that he agreed with me. So go ahead and put it on the board for Joe, round number 2. Guys, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know because, hey, and then let us know in the comment what you guys think about the show. Because we're talking basketball, but like you said, Tuesday nights, Nick Mack brings the heat. this last episode, woo!
As a 32-year-old NBA basketball fan, diehard, that bleeds, sweats, and cries this damn sport, I am more pissed off than I have ever been.
Well, the people triggered him. If you want to keep triggering him, you got to hop in those comments and give your hot takes.
Like the Hawks taking down the Sixers in 6 games.
We should throw that to Nick Mack for his next episode.
Nick's watching. He's watching right now. Nick, take that and just destroy Mike next week.
Oh, man, I'm putting it on a graphic now that we're talking about it. Hawks in 6 games. My Instagram followers are getting a very special edition. Mike talking NBA for the first time since –
it's probably the reason that you don't talk NBA. With you going, the Hawks are going to take down the Sixers. This is the first and last time that Mike talks to NBA.
I promise it's not the last time. We're going to talk about it probably next week. But anyways, let us know who you think won this round. Smash that like button. Helps us out a ton in the algorithm. Any last things, Joe, before I move on to the next round? Cue the fire. Is Julio Jones worth the first round pick? Joe, looks like I'm the yes man for tonight. I've answered yes to all the topics so far, and I'm going to say yes, Julio Jones is indeed worth a first round pick on one specific condition. If he gets traded to a contending team. I say that because I think that he's only worth the first round pick if it's outside the top 15 at least. And you're confident that your team's going to be selecting somewhere in the mid-20s of the first round. That's basically a second round pick to me, making it well worth a contending team to go and get him if they just got to say, oh yeah, this is the first round pick, when really it's the 29th pick in the first round. Julio is still an elite wide receiver in this league, and everyone is worried about the injury concern. Newsflash, Julio has missed 10 games total in the previous 7 seasons of football. And 7 of those games came last season on a soft tissue injury, a hamstring injury. Julio stays banged up. I understand. That's why he has this stigma to him. But despite being banged up, he still gets on the field and he still performs. In those 7 seasons, he's also had 1,400 yards in 6 of those 7 previous seasons. Are you kidding me? That's all-time great level of wide receiver play over a long period of time. And by the way, he was on track to put up those kind of numbers this previous season before the hamstring injury. DeAndre Hopkins went for David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick, and the entire world exploded that the Cardinals stole DeAndre Hopkins, that they did not give up enough to get him. What is more than David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick? A 1st-round pick. So Julio Jones is definitely worth a 1st-round pick if you guys are saying that that elite receiver is worth more than that package.
Mike! Is Julio Jones worth a 1st-round pick? Well, you're worth what other people are going to give you, right? You're worth whatever people say you are. So he's 32 years old with what some, like you just mentioned, some will call it injury. We'll call it pronitis, right? Injury pronitis. We'll make it sound a little bit nicer. So I don't think anyone is trying to offer the Falcons a 1st-round pick. Every team is always trying to make the deal and the best value for the team. I see him going for a 2nd, maybe an additional pick with that 2nd-round pick. So no, he wouldn't be worth a 1st-round pick in the evaluation that we're talking about right now. I think Julio Jones is still great and elite wide receiver, but like you mentioned, we saw Hopkins go for absolutely nothing. David Johnson, a 2nd, what'd you say, a 4th? We saw Antonio Brown when he got traded to the Raiders. Antonio Brown was still a good wide receiver at that time. He still is right now. And he went for what, a 3rd and a 5th. Diggs was the only exception. He went for a 1st-round pick, right? Because I think the reason Diggs went for a 1st-round pick is because of the big stink from the DeAndre Hopkins trade. But not to get off point, the Falcons are going to have to trade Julio Jones, right? Even though I still think Julio Jones is still an elite wide receiver, they're going to have to realize that they're not going to win. They're not going to be a playoff team this year. They're not going to do what everybody hopes they do and go win a Super Bowl real soon. So they're going to have to trade in Julio and get what they can get. Mike, look at Julio Jones. Julio Jones will be a Raider or a Titan pretty soon. Both those teams won't give up a 1st-round pick. No. Julio Jones might not be worth the 1st-round pick, but I'm going to tell you right now, Falcon fans, you're going to regret trading him, and he's going to make you wish that you got a 1st-round pick at the end of the day.
What if the Raiders gave up a 1st-round pick? Would you be okay with it? Straight up, 1st-round pick for Julio Jones.
Yes.
Put it on the board. Bam.
But is he... Yes, and then I'm am I going against what I said? No, because I said you are worth whatever anybody asks you. Right now, I bet you the Raiders aren't offering a 1st-round pick. But if like in a month from now or whenever they do it, and the Raiders offer a 1st-round pick, then yes, he's worth the 1st-round pick. You're worth what, like when people sign a $30 million contract and you go, Dak Prescott's not worth $34 million, right? Well, somebody thought he was. Somebody gave him that deal. So at that time, he's worth it. Now, me personally, would I give up a 1st-round pick for Julio Jones? I would try my hardest not to. But if you're giving up a 2nd and you're giving up a 4th, if you're willing to give up a 2nd and a 4th, and then they go, hey, just give me a 1st instead.
Yeah.
Hello.
You're talking about adding a 6th to the deal instead.
You're keeping your 2nd and your 4th, and you're giving up a 1st. Do the damn deal. Do the damn deal. And my thing is, the Titans and the Raiders both could use a wide receiver, right? Julio Jones on the opposite of A.J. Brown would be unbelievable and crazy to watch, right? Julio Jones, put him on the opposite of Henry Ruggs. Wow. You're impacting 2 teams, and that's 2 teams that are, I know you're hate on the Raiders, but that offense, you added Julio Jones to that offense, it's a scary offense again. It's just right there. And you're going to say that you're not going to do it for a 1st-round pick. The Raiders have drafted on the good side, or I would say, I don't know what's the good side, but I say it's the good side of 15. So the middle of the draft is 1 through 15, right? So that's like your bad teams. And the Raiders have been like 17, 18. So they've been like right on the cusp every time. So that you're not giving up a top 15 pick if you're the Raiders. Same thing with the Titans. And I think it's worth it. And then you look at the Raiders' last couple of first-round picks, or the Titans, like last year. The Titans had a first-round pick that, guess what? He didn't play one snap. So you're gonna say, give up the first-round pick. You know exactly what you're getting with Julio Jones, and that's a baller shot caller.
Yeah, I think even if he has a down year, he's going to go over 1,000 and probably over 5-6 touchdowns. And at the very minimum, he helps out your wide receiver too, who on both those teams, the Titans and the Raiders, is a developing wide receiver still, who still hasn't reached his full potential. So you're giving them a window where they get to play with an all-time great to continue developing, whether it's A.J. Brown or Henry Ruggs. But I'm thinking more of Julio's going to help Darren Waller's game almost more than anybody. I know I'm a Raider hater, but I've actually been leaning towards like he's probably going to get the most use out of him, and he's going to have the best years in either New England, Tennessee, or Las Vegas, just because those three teams, they need a wide receiver one.
And I don't know how many years he has left, but if he could stay healthy, I would say 2 to 3 years at the max, especially with the training and stuff the players do nowadays. He's 32. I don't buy, like you said, we don't buy the injury prone in him. And even if he misses 2 to 3 games in a season, that's still good. And I'm kind of wondering if he pulled a Kenny Golladay here and just set out a couple games.
Yeah, it would make sense. It was a hamstring. So for a hamstring, you literally can make it a week-long injury, or it can be a 6-week-long injury. And hamstrings are so touchy.
Because I had Julio Jones on my fantasy football team last year, right? And I still like Julio Jones. I'll still take him. Anytime I have a chance to get him, I'll draft him. But he practiced all week. Most of the time, you'll be reading and he'll be like, he practiced. Game time decision, not playing. So in my mind, I was like, hey, but Julio's deserved the right to do that. He's been there. He's done everything for that organization. The Falcons will treat him right, and they'll send him to a good place, and they'll get the compensation that they'll get and be happy with.
The Chargers are still in this conversation. Come on.
Yeah. Did you see that tweet somebody put out that had like 19 teams on there, and it goes, Julio Jones could go to one of these teams, and it was like 19 teams listed, and they go, sorry to all the other teams. You've been eliminated.
That was worse. It said that Julio Jones has narrowed down to these 19 teams. Like when the quarterbacks like circle 3 teams.
Yeah.
Julio circled 19 teams. I hope he actually like put that out to a reporter. Was like, yeah, I'll go to this team, 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 this team. Like, yep, you guys got me. I'm narrowing it down for you guys. The thing that bothers me though, out of everything, is all the people who are like super against giving up a first round pick for Julio Jones, but we're the same people when I go on their page and scroll down who are freaking out that DeAndre Hopkins was traded for basically nothing.
Yeah.
So you're okay back then with throwing more into that deal, but you're not okay with just one first round pick, especially a contending team's first round pick for Julio, who, like you said, probably has 2 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 yard seasons in him.
See, I used to be very against trading picks, and I still kind of am. I'm still kind of iffy about trading picks. But when it comes to an impact player and a player that at a Hall of Fame level, yeah, I'm doing it all the time. And I've seen the Raiders do it. They did it for Richard Seymour. Richard Seymour came out, still dominated, but he didn't make like a great impact. But we're talking about a wide receiver that will see the ball more often. That, a wide receiver doesn't get the ball every play, but he could take that. He can open up the box for the running game. He could take the cover off. He's going to open, like you said, open it up for Waller or A.J. Brown or whatever team he goes to. He's going to open it up. He's going to take the double team still, right? So you're looking at the value that he's going to bring you. And if you only one first round pick, you might as well do it. I'm not saying go be like the Rams and trade 7 first round picks in a row, but trading 1 or 2 here and there and still continuing to keep your draft picks, you'll be all right.
And Julio, I know it'll be super fun to play with Derrick Henry because you're going to see a lot of one-on-one coverage. They got to load the box to stop you. It'll be a lot more fun to play with number 10. A lot more fun to play with number 10. He could throw a lot further than Ryan Tannehill. I heard.
Well, I even like the one that you brought up on your own show when you said the Browns. It'd be
Dark
crazy
horse.
to put Julio with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper and Ngakoue and all those the and then that running game.
Yeah,
like Cleveland would be unstoppable. I don't know about I know we all say the Colts need a wide receiver. I don't know if the Colts would be the ones that would do it. I don't see them giving up a first round pick. They usually don't like to spend the money and go out there and they did it last year and it worked out great for their defense. But I don't know. I in my personal opinion, and I'm kind of biased a little bit, right? But I think it's down to the Raiders and the Titans. I think those are the two teams. And I know Mike Mayock. I think right now Mike Mayock and John Gruden are fighting at each other. Like Mike Mayock, like, no, I'm not giving up a first round pick, and Gruden's like, give up the damn first round pick, right? Get the deal done. But they're going to try to do it as cheap as they can because they know that they got Antonio Brown for a third and a fifth. And what they had, if Antonio Brown didn't have the feet problem and all that crap, that offense, what you saw when he was at practice was going to be great. And now you give John Gruden an elite offense or elite receiver. I think it works out. So they already know what they could have, and just give them the pick. Give it up. Give up whatever they want. I don't care at this point.
Yeah, that locker room really needs someone that's going to walk in and say, I'm the top dog. I'm the top receiver. Everyone else fill your roles. Henry Ruggs, go to the slot. Darren Waller, keep dominating down low as a tight end and putting people on their backs. And let me go to work outside. I think it will be a good fit, Joe, for your Raiders, unfortunately. But it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. He's going to be a Titan, a Patriot, or a Charger.
It's going to happen, Mike.
Nope.
It's going to happen.
Colts are still an outside shot, I think. Anyways, I think that wraps it up for this episode. That's 3 topics. We're getting pretty good at recording this stuff. Usually we have conversations in between the recording and everything, but this one we just got it. There you go.
Well, you know, when you're sad because I won again, it happens, right? You don't want to talk to me no more because you used to look up to me like, I can't compete with this guy. This guy's so good. Guys, remember, let me win again. Vote for Joe down in the comments. Don't vote for Mike. Joe in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Set your notifications so you're watching everything because we have 5 weekly shows coming up. 5 weekly shows. Multiple live shows. We can guarantee you 3 live shows. But sometimes there's more. Because Tony Tucker, if you're missing anything that Tony Tucker's on, then you're not watching. You don't love sports because Tony Tucker is amazing and he's always bringing it. He's funny. We just started our YouTube shorts, so you guys check those out. Watch for those. Those are funny and we're having a great time doing those. So Warzone Sports Network. Hey, Mike, where can they get merchandise at?
At www.warzonesportsnetwork.com. Got the whole thing.
Great job.
Nailed it, but
Great
we
job.
did not nail it completely because neither one of us are wearing Warzone Sports Network merch. But I promise you there's awesome merch there.
Yeah. Also, check out warzonesportsnetwork.com and check out the blogs and the articles that we have on there. And a lot more coming your way, guys. Great episode of Friday Night Wars. Love it.
We're growing. You guys are growing with us. You're a part of something special. I'm telling you right now, if you're subscribed, you have the notification bell on so you don't miss any Tony Tucker. Like Joe was saying, we can't all be Tony Tucker, but we do have Tony Tucker on the team. So it's a win-win scenario for everyone. Thanks for tuning in this week. Leave a comment who won. Remember, you decide the winner. It's definitely Mike. It's not Joe. I know he's doing dances and doing everything back there, pointing at himself, kinda. His billboard version of himself.
I was pointing at Adrian Beltre that doesn't look anything like me, but okay.
not quite the same. Anyways, I want everyone at home to take a listen because I'm going to share some advice that includes you, Randy Pepperton. When you're talking sports, you're in a sports debate. You never know when you're going to have to go to war. 30th episode next week.